Right, and continuing here, so this Zoroaster character, you can, do some work on your own if you want to look at who the figure was and what kind of theology and philosophy he had. But like I said, he's an interesting figure. There's some really, interesting stuff about him and his ideas. But in terms of the connection to Nietzsche, again, Nietzsche's not really trying to get us to think about Zoroaster in a new way. He's just using basically the name. So then we go on. We see the editor and translators are Pippin and Doccaro, two very excellent Nietzsche scholars. The table of contents introduction we'll look at a later later podcast, excuse me. The chronology we'll look at here. Notes on the text, we'll look at that too. We'll also take a look at the index. You can see the table of contents here that we're reading, for the most part, the first two parts, a little bit of the third part. So about 150 pages, yeah, maybe total that we're reading, but all the chapters or the episodes are in very sort of short form. And in a later podcast, we'll actually take a look at how they look. Okay, so let's skip past the introduction here for a second. Like I said, very good, and I'll spend some time on it in just going over the basic ideas there. Um, Chronology gives you a little sense of where Nietzsche stands. So, 19th century, 1844 to 1900 are his birth and death dates. He's German, grows up in Germany, lives in Europe most of his life. And so he's a good figure to start IH2 off with because he's at this moment in, um, in history, in Western history, where the modern world and maybe the postmodern world is starting to break out. Um, so what we understand as modernity, right? Sort of middle class, democracy, advanced capitalism, high capitalism, uh, all things we sort of associate with modern life, right? He's right at sort of at the not at the beginning of it, but he's there at a moment where he starts to see problems with this modernization project that's going on, this advancement. And so he's very good. He makes very interesting critiques, and these critiques are, in his lifetime, not really paid attention to, but he's very popular and has been very popular for the last 50 years. So he's sort of enjoyed a renaissance in that sense.